Hi everyone, and a warm welcome back to Offshore Adventures. I'm Bob.
And I'm Nikki.
And a big thank you first of all to those who have subscribed to the channel. We do hope you've liked our first few films. Today we've had a few inquiries and a few people asking about the Zipwakes fitted to our Merry Fisher 895 offshore. And so we thought we'd put together some short clips and a little bit of information which might give you an insight into how the Zipwakes function on the 895 and indeed on any of the Merry Fishers that have the option of the Zipwakes. On our 795 we had the Lenco Trim Tabs, much more manual system. These are automatic and or can be set to automatic. They do still retain a manual mode, and we'll have a quick look at those options for those of you who might be considering either swapping to or choosing the Zipwakes as an option for your boat. Okay, so as we start the ignition for the engines in the boat, you'll see that the Zipwakes are also starting. They're wired in to come on automatically with the ignition, and they go through their self-check and startup procedure, and then straight away go back to the last setting that you had them at. In this occasion we've got them set to auto. You can there with the button on the right work between manual and or auto, but the auto function is great to work with and leaves you very little to do once it's set up. So you can see we've wired them also into the GPS map, this being the GPS map 8410 XSV. Wired them in, so up at the top right there you'll see the percentages already starting to work. Both port and starboard showing 99%. So in other words, the tabs are right in their fully down position as we start to move at slow speed. Just at about 5 knots at the moment.
It's quite atmospheric.
So as we're coming in towards Naylor Marina, a bit of a grey old afternoon, albeit to be fair it is November. We're about 7-8 knots, and you can see the top right here, that's the display that's wired through from the Zipwakes, showing port and starboard both at 99% down. And then as we now start to increase speed, you'll see them start to work to keep the boat, keep the bow down. As we push on, we're going to bring her up to about 4,000, which for this boat, the 895, is just about on planing speed. So we're against the tide, and you can see there that the tab percentages then gradually drop down as the boat goes up onto the plane, down into single figures now just about, and they constantly work therefore to adjust to the boat's speed. We're at 23 knots now, 23.5 knots. We're at about 4,100 revs, and you see the Zipwakes have almost retracted completely now because the boat's planing nicely. So if we now bring the speed off a bit, you'll see that the Zipwake now percentages starts to increase, and if I turn her to port, you'll see now that the port and starboard tabs are working hard now to stabilise the boat as it turns to the port and starboard. And now then we're going back to port again. Fairly hard turn back to port. And now a swap over again. Fairly hard turn back to starboard. You see the way and how quickly the tabs respond to the angle of the boat and the speed to help to keep it balanced and as level as possible. So we're at 92 and 70, so let's bring it back up now. Bring it back knots against 29 knots. We're against the tide, it's just turned, so it's coming out of the estuary. But you see there, tabs fully retracted, having done their work as we got up on the plane, and then bringing that speed off again. So we're now just below planing speed, so you can see straight away the tabs are starting to come back down again to help to keep the bow down and keep the boat as level as it can through the water. Speed's dropping right down now, 12 knots. So hopefully that's given you a little insight into how quickly they respond, both with turns to port and starboard, and obviously to the increase and or decrease in speed of the boat. Useful wired in on the display there, because as you saw earlier, they are, in this particular boat, they're fitted down low there, so not as easy to see the display, but easily done if you wire them into the GPS map here. This one's a GPS map 8410 XSV, and the display comes up pretty well on there. Hope that's of use to you. And as we're coming back into Nayland, a couple more up here at Valero. There is this little one here, which is the Tungenius, 7,500 tons dead weight. But what we actually wanted to show you, because it's an absolute whopper, was its big brother, which is that one. That is Sea Beauty, she's called. An absolute monster. And there you get an idea of the two of them together. Here's a clip of them from when the boat was out for its 20-hour service. You'll remember that we had them fitted port and starboard side, just a pair of the 450S's, but obviously you can increase, double up, 2 pairs each side, indeed a number of different combinations depending on the size of your boat. Gives us a chance to have a look at those Zipwakes. There's the Zipwakes under here. They're the Zipwake,
so it's 20-hour service, yeah.
Zipwake 450S's. on the back here. So just one this side and one obviously over this side. And the tabs themselves obviously come out, slide out from under here automatically.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And so there's the actual Zipwake display. We obviously saw it working there on the interface with the GPS map. A very simple menu as well. You've obviously got the auto setup facility there, where within that, or within a sub menu of that, you can enter your particular boat data. Ours is in there, 9 meters, 3 meter beam, and we've got it entered at 5 tons weight. And then also you can also set the interceptors themselves. You can also test them to make sure they're functioning without of course having to get yourself under the water, by just running an interceptor check here, and as soon as I hit start there, you'll hear the interceptors starting to self-test, where they extend and retract several times just to make sure they're functioning well. At the end of the self-test, it actually gives you a readout, which we'll see in a sec, to show that everything is functioning as normal. So let's just start that self-test there, which is by a press there of the start button, and there you can hear them retracting and extending, doing that self-test to make sure all is working. This gives you a percentage there, and then at the end of the test, everything appearing in the green there, where that blue line crosses the green, everything there showing as functioning correctly in terms of the speed that they're coming in and out. A very simple system, very easy to work with, and some good clear menu options that make control and setup of the whole Zipwake system very straightforward. A great bit of kit. So once again, thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully that look at the Zipwake Trim Tab system has helped answer a couple of the questions that we've had, albeit a very brief view of them. If you wanted to know any more information directly from us, then by all means leave me a message below. But if you've enjoyed the film and the look at the Zipwakes, then do give us a like, and of course please think about subscribing to our channel as well. We'd love to have you along. So for the moment, that's both of us saying thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.